Okay, in this video we're going to complete problem set 2 and chapter 3, and we are going to do problems 2 and 3. Now I'm actually going to do the assignment using slightly different data. The reason I'm using slightly different data is because I want to make sure that we can demonstrate the differences between how we compute outliers and how we determine if something is normal. So the question asks us to look at the stock indexes spreadsheet, and there is a column of S&P 500 and a column of Nikkei, and it asks us to determine whether or not each is normal and whether or not there are any outliers. So let's get started. We have to make sure we have our PHStat turned on. So I'm going to go into my PHStat folder here and double click here and enable the macros. And now we see that our stock indexes spreadsheet has got add-ins. So let's begin here by I'm going to get rid of these two columns because we're not going to use them, so delete. And now let me click add-ins, and the first thing I'm going to do is do a descriptive summary and look at the kurtosis and the skewness to see if either of them are normal. PHStat, descriptive statistics, descriptive summary, and this thing pops up. And for the range, I'm going to go from B1 down to, I'm going to hold the shift key down and click this to select my two columns. And it is multiple groups, and I click OK. And this gives me the descriptive summary. We see from these two numbers that S&P 500, the skewness is between -1 and 1, and the kurtosis is between -1 and 1. So this is normal. This sample is normal. For the Nikkei, we see that the skewness is between -1 and 1. However, the kurtosis is less than -1. So the Nikkei is not normal. Okay, so let's go back to our data. And we actually have enough information to compute the outliers, to see if there's any outliers with the S&P. So let's do that right now. I'm going to add a column here, and I'm going to put a column title of zscore, and I'm going to use this formula right here on page 108, where the z-score is the value minus the mean divided by the standard deviation, and if the score is less than -3 or greater than +3, then it's an outlier. So I'm going to say this is equal to this number minus the mean, enter, and that's this number minus the mean. I'm going to put parentheses around this, and I'm going to divide this by the standard deviation, which is this number. Enter. Now, before I copy this formula down, I need to make sure that the 4 stays a 4 on the other page and the 11 stays an 11 on the other page, because I'm going to be dragging this down different rows. I'm putting my mouse over the lower right hand corner square, clicking down and dragging this all the way down, and we have the z-scores for all of these values. So let's we can identify this z-score looks like it is greater than 3, so this is an outlier. We can actually sort the whole thing here by z-score or S&P, doesn't matter. and we see that this is the lowest S&P score. It's not an outlier. This is the highest S&P score, and it is an outlier. Okay, now we're going to look at how to compute outliers for the Nikkei. Now, so since it's not normal, we have to look at the interquartile ranges. So let's to get the interquartile ranges, we can do a box plot and check the 5-number summary. So let's click Add-ins, PHStat, and let's do box plot. And in this case, I'm really only interested in Nikkei, so I'm just going to do Nikkei here, down to here. And it's a single group variable, 5-number summary. Okay. And here we have our 5-number summary for the Nikkei. And we see the minimum, first quartile, median, third quartile, and maximum. So let's calculate the interquartile range. I'm going to put an IQR up here. And then I'm going to put lower threshold. And I'll put over here upper threshold. And the formula is, first let's compute the IQR. That would be equal the third quartile minus the first quartile, and we get that number. And the lower threshold is then equal to the first quartile minus the IQR times 1.5. And operator precedence will do this computation first, subtract that from B5, and so the lower threshold is 351. If there are any observations, if there are any data points less than 351, then that would be an outlier. Let's do the upper threshold, equal to this number plus this number times 1.5, enter. And if we have observation that's greater than this number, 717, we have an outlier. So let's go back to the data, and let's sort now by Nikkei. Data, sort, Nikkei. And we see that the lowest observation is 436. That is not less than 351. And the highest observation is 625, and that is not greater than 717. So, in conclusion, we have no outliers in the Nikkei. However, it is not normal because this kurtosis is less than -1. The S&P is normal. Both are between -1 and 1. However, we do have a outlier, which is the observation here that this one here, 1355, the z-score is greater than 3. Thanks for watching.